Welcome back to our second round coverage of Gym Challenge 28 here for the Premier Challenge at Zyklotera Plays. Once again, my name is Sis Cornell. Alongside me, Dennis Geisler. We are here for round number 2 between Hayley Aldworth and Nicholas Stavrakis here. And pretty exciting outlook for this matchup, to say the least.
Yeah, pretty unique teams. Certainly on Nicholas's side with the Mono Fairy Asterisk team. And then on Hayley's side, bringing out the Dondozo and bringing out the Dragonite Entei. On Hayley's side, as mentioned, Dragonite, Entei, Tatsugiri, Dondozo, Fluttermane, Amoonguss, and on Nicholas's side, Grimmsnarl, Fluttermane, Primarina, Azumarill, Mimikyu, and Gouging Fire, Honorary Fairy on account of its Terra Fairy.
Yeah, Nicholas decided to be a fairy-type gym trainer today because apparently we don't respect Ortega in the gym business.
Yeah, and getting the Terra Fairy in there just to be the ace at the end.
Yeah, because every gym leader had a different type Pokemon that wasn't reflected with their typing.
Exactly. So that's what the Gouging Fire is here. An interesting matchup here. Obviously, the Dondozo is a big part of things, particularly in terms of some of the matchups here. Dondozo, I don't know. I kind of don't love Dondozo in this matchup because of how it matches up against some of this. Like, Dondozo just doesn't have that high of special attack, and so Fluttermane and Primarina will be able to do some serious damage to it at certain points in time. It does have the Unaware, so it'll be able to break through the Gouging Fire Howls for Azumarill and Mimikyu, as well as Mimikyu's Sword Stance.
Yeah, but that's only going as far as you can because your game plan, I mean, obviously...
But it also means you can never order up because everything is immune to order up unless it Terras. Except for Gouging Fire, which could Terra to get immune to order up.
I mean, it is weak to dragons after all. It is weak to dragons.
Yeah.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to game number 1 of round number 2 here between Nicholas and Hayley. Nicholas going to go ahead and lead Grimmsnarl or Gouging Fire, and Hayley, she is going to lead off with the Amoonguss and Dondozo. So, a couple things are going to happen here. Obviously, the booster energy for speed will activate for Nicholas's Gouging Fire, but this could also just inadvertently power up this Grimmsnarl should it have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does have the Howl to boost Grimmsnarl if it wants to, although I think the Grimmsnarl might want to just open up with probably just a Fake Out would make the most sense, or even a Reflect to try to get Dondozo a bit more weakened. Just trying to slow down this Amoonguss, though. I guess I'm curious on account of just trying to make sure Spore doesn't get you too out of sorts early on in the battle.
It also just varies on what the Gouging Fire can do here, because he should do a decent amount of damage to the Amoonguss here. Ooh, Dondozo switches out, interestingly enough. Usually it's the partner Pokemon that wants to switch out to activate Commander here, but instead Entei going to come in for type coverage. So what's going to be happening here? Hayley also going to declare her Terra immediately on this Amoonguss, and it's going to be water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. I guess the rest of this turn is what I'm interested in. The Amoonguss does have the super effective Sludge Bomb, which... weird nice thing that it gets.
Okay, well, we're going to see Gouging Fire go for the Burning Bulwark to potentially check Dondozo if Hayley did opt to go for her Commander mode, but unfortunately did not happen. Reflect comes out from Grimmsnarl, so physical damage will be mitigated at the very least. Sludge Bomb into this Grimmsnarl, perfectly called out correctly, does over half damage. No poison though, but that Grimmsnarl's in perfect danger.
Yeah, not a bad turn 1 for either player, I'd say. I think the big thing is just that the Spore is still a threat, potentially even more of a threat.
As we see the light screen get set up by Nicholas's Grimmsnarl, breaking swipe into both of these Pokemon for Hayley is going to lower the attack of both the Amoonguss and the Entei, importantly on the Entei, because it is a physical attacker, but there is a Rocky Helmet on that Amoonguss, so Sacred Fire, although it will land on the Grimmsnarl, will not be enough because of this Reflect, but it does have to burn off the Sacred Fire, being 50% chance to do so. Spore goes into Gouging Fire, and now Nicholas is in a weird spot.
Yeah, I think the big concern here is Nicholas. I mean, Grimmsnarl kind of wants to get out of the way at this point. Yeah, it's going to linger. I was going to say, I don't think the burn finishes it off there. And yeah, now at this point, you kind of want the Grimmsnarl out of the way because you want to be able to bring something in fresh that can then threaten these Pokemon, because nothing on the field is doing that right now, especially with Gouging Fire asleep. But it's a very... It's not a worthless offensive Gouging Fire, but it's very utility based.
There is this first turn of sleep that it has to take, so no switch outs on either of these trainers. Stomping Tantrum goes into this Gouging Fire. It's doing pitiful damage after that Breaking Swipe, and Crunch is just going to be the last resort option. Oh, gets defense drop on the Amoonguss, and it will knock itself out because of the Rocky Helmet. Maybe now it just depends on what this Amoonguss does here, whether it goes for a Sludge Bomb or another Spore. It is just going to be Sludge Bomb because of the Grimmsnarl taking damage earlier. It's redirected to Gouging Fire, still does minimal damage thanks to that Reflect.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't going to do very much damage at all, but now we have the Zoomerl coming in. That's probably ideal for Nicholas here, as now you seriously threaten both the Entei and the Amoonguss. And the Entei at -1 attack can't really threaten it too much in return. I guess the concern here for Nicholas is potentially a switch into Dondozo Tatsugiri. And having to fight that from scratch, although if Gouging Fire wakes up, it'll be a pretty decent advantage back.
We're going to see Nicholas go for the Terrestrialization onto just a Zoomerl, so now it's going to go into Fire typing to deal with Energy Ball, should it have to.
Dangerous against the Dozo, though.
Yeah, it is dangerous because it now enables Wave Crash. That's 2 turns of sleep on Gouging Fire. As it tries to wake up this turn, just has to go to nap on its Ancient Slumber. Play rough, not enough to knock out the Amoonguss there. And Energy Ball was the cause, so you got that one correct, but now you're just susceptible to a Wave Crash the next turn, and you still don't know if Gouging Fire is able to wake up, but that was also a critical hit off the Energy Ball.
Yeah.
And also, I like to correct myself, it was not Reflect, it was Fight Screen.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the issue here, since the Amoonguss is standing, it'll be able to swap out and get that Regenerator HP back, and the problem here is that the Dondozo is pretty opened up in what it is able to do here. It has the Earthquake to just hit anything it wants to. It has the Wave Crash to do super effective damage. It can use Order Up now on either of these Pokemon, because it knows the Terra Fairy can't come out and the Fairy's gone. And so switching in the Tatsugiri here, getting the Regenerator HP back, and just going with those Ogiri here. Now that you've already gotten one Pokemon out of the way, this is a really, really good spot to be in if you're Hayley.
Yeah, all she can do now is spam Earthquakes, because both of these Pokemon are now Fire types, meaning Ground type coverage is pretty good against both of these Pokemon. And depending on, oh my god, Gouging Fire took a 3rd turn of sleep, unfortunately, so Spore got all of the value that it needed, and this likely signals a double knockout from Dondozo's Earthquake. Will it be that though? It will not be, so Zoomerl has a chance to retaliate with this Play Rough, but look how much damage it did. But it gets an attack drop.
Gets the attack drop, which is nice, although I don't think it'll be too meaningful. The problem here is that, like, Nicholas is just, like, I don't see how these Pokemon get through this turn. Because an Earthquake finishes both these Pokemon off. Even if Gouging Fire wakes up, it doesn't do anything here. It's got to be like a Breaking Swipe or something.
It is going to be Breaking Swipe to reset the attack back to neutral against the Dondozo. Gets a critical hit, so we're ignoring those defense boosts, being unaware of it, and yet we're going to see the Order go into the Zoomerl, get one of those attack boosts back, and another critical hit. And Zoomerl's going to faint. And now Nicholas is in a little bit of a weird problem because your Gouging Fire is at least still here, but who do you have in the back to deal with all of Hayley's Pokemon, which is still the Amoonguss that's in the back and the Entei?
Yeah, I think I actually would have preferred an Earthquake there, just finishing off both of those Pokemon. Not a terrible decision as it was, and now you've got the Flutter Mane in here. And honestly, you can just go for an Earthquake this turn to... I don't know if you knock out both these Pokemon, but you get pretty close. Flutter Mane's very... frail on that physical side. It is Sash, so you won't knock it out, but regardless, I think you're in a nice spot to just get through the next couple of turns, like as long as you just keep clicking your moves. Dondozo is just going to keep hitting.
And then Protect coming out from both Burning Bulwarks on the Gouging Fire, and to protect from Dondozo's, meaning this Moonblast is going to do nothing. We'll get some more leftover recovery. This probably, I think that we're going to have a slow grind fest to get towards Hayley winning this game number 1.
Yeah, I don't know how slow and grindy it'll even be. I think like an Order Up there will be fine, but regardless, I think that Dondozo will pretty quickly wrap up both these Pokemon, I think.